So we packed up our things and followed the ravine. And though well, Anna may well have deceived us in the past, her final act, her final act, her final act of guidance was entirely truthful. The ravine proved every bit the clear and the easy path she said it was, and by late afternoon we reached civilization. We got we got to the biggest road we could find, and were eventually able to hitch a ride with a passing trucker. He was a very friendly guy. Take it, take it from me, my man. Any girl who agreed to go camping in Hokkaido in the middle of December, well, she's either in love with you or she's a nutcase. You know what I mean? He even dropped us at a nice little Sento in downtown Otaru, where we were able to get our first hot baths in 2 months. After that, it was just a short walk to the port, where we soon found, where we soon found the pier that Eka had told us about so many weeks before, and the humble fishing boat beside it that looked much like any other, but was to us nothing less than our final means of salvation. The name of the ship's captain was Hikosaka. Eka said we could trust the guy, but that we best keep our eyes open around him. Money was the prime motivator in his world. His cooperation had come at a cost of a hefty bribe, and he would likely start charging us little extra fees once we were on board. I had no problem with that, as long as he let us on board at 10 o'clock, and set sail soon thereafter. Cap- Captain Hikosaka could be the greediest little swine on earth and still be a saint in my book. Oi. Right on time, I see. Good kids. Ah, Hajimima. Hiro, right? And your little sweetie there. There must be Miki. Thank you, Captain, Hiro said. Thank you for doing this for us. No need for brown nosing, boy. A-chan paid me good enough. So long as y'all follow my orders and keep out of my way, the three of us will get along. Get along fine. Come on, let's get you on board. I'll see if I can't get Sakachan off his butt to fix us some grub. He seemed like a nice enough guy, provided I could get past the fact that he reeked of stale tobacco and a bourbon. There was no reason why we shouldn't get along as well as he said. In spite of the cold, Hiro and I decided to stand on deck and watch as the ship left the shore. It was something we both wanted to see firsthand, if only because it signified our deliverance from Akuzu and his men. But it was, of course, much more than that. We were leaving for good now, leaving our families, leaving our homeland. At 10:30, the horn sounded, and the engine and the engine rumbled to life, carrying the ship away from the pier. Little by little, the shore receded. Little by little, until it was nothing but a narrow band of darkness and distant lights, all but indistinguishable from the ocean itself. I tried so hard not to cry, to think only of how good it was that we were finally going to be free. But the tears came anyway, and with them came a wave of emotions, a wild rushing torrent of them, that had Hero not been there to catch me would surely have brought me to my knees. I'm sorry, Hero. I should be happy right now, just happy. No, Mickey, please don't say that. It's crazy that we've gone through what we are still going through, and I'm amazed by you, Mickey, amazed at how strong you've been and at how much you've given up, how much you've gone without, how much you've suffered through just to be with me. I've done nothing to deserve that kind of devotion. The best I can hope for is to earn it day by day and year by year from now on. Hiro, what will things be like for us when we get to the South Seas? Where will we stay? What will we do to support ourselves? I'm sorry, I've been so focused on the present. I barely even thought about the future. That's okay, Hiro. I'm sure neither of us really knows what's coming next. But do you think we'll finally be free? Free to stay together as long as we want? I do, Mickey. Oh, I love birds. Come inside and warm yourselves up a bit. We need more hands at the poker table. Uh-oh. Sounds like he's already itching for some extra compensation. Who cares? Come on, it'll be fun. So we followed Captain Hikosaka indoors. I should warn you, Captain. Miki and I aren't big gamblers. Is that so? Well, you've got nothing to lose then, do ya, boy? There you go, ladies first. Akuzu never said a word. He didn't need to. His authority over Hiro was complete, so incontestable. So incontestable. His authority over Hiro was so complete, so incontestable, that he was able to have Hiro do his talking for him. I failed you, sir. Hiro dropped to his knees and bowed his head in submission. I accept the punishment that you have designed for me. I ask only, please, that you do nothing to harm her, that you return her to her previous life with as little suffering as possible. Akuzu rose from his chair but remained silent. For one brief sickening moment, his eyes met mine. Then he lifted his right hand and laid it flat upon the table. Hiro immediately crumbled to the ground and lay there unconscious. When I turned my attention back to Akuzu, I saw that he was no longer alone. No, no. Anna rose from the table and floated forward until she was inches from my face. How could you do this? How could you? I should have known better. But by the time I understood that I was no longer staring into Anra's eyes by choice, my head grew sluggish, slow and sleepy, and within seconds all went black. When I awoke, I was in one of the ship's cabins. I could hear the engines. We were still at sea. The door, of course, was locked, but there was a small window on the wall. I could at least get some sense of where we were. I saw lights on the shoreline. Judging from how many there were, we had traveled farther south along the coast, much farther south. For the rest of the journey, there was nothing to do but sit and think, thinking about what had gone wrong, about what options, if any, yet remained for Hiro and me. I wanted to believe there was still a way out, that our defeat was not as certain as it seemed. I even tried to imagine that Akuzu might have a change of heart, that he allowed Hiro and me to stay together in some form. But the time for illusions had passed. This was the end, the real end. Akuzu would take Hiro and lock him away forever. As for what he intended to do with me, well, there was something altogether too frightening to think about. In the dead of the night, we arrived at our final destination. We recognized the buildings. We were back in Fukuyama. 4 deliverers escorted me from the ship to a waiting car where I was put in the back seat. It had been months since I'd seen my hometown. Under different circumstances, I have been excited to see the place. As it was, the passing fields and the farmhouses held no meaning for me whatsoever. This was the hometown of someone else, someone I used to be, a girl I hardly even knew anymore. We came to a stop at Hiro's house. Leaving the car, we climbed the hill and went inside. The man led me through the front hallway and to the stairway. I never ventured beyond the first floor. I had no idea what was up there. We climbed the steps to the second floor, then circled to another stairway and continued straight onto the attic. There was only one room at the top of the steps. The 4 men stood back. I was to enter the room alone. It was a council of deliverer elders. Hiro had described such gatherings to me, but never had I imagined I would one day stand before one. In the center, seated higher than the others, was Akuzu. And on the floor, directly in front of me, Hiro, are you okay? Say something, Hiro. It's me, Miki. Don't waste your breath, child. He cannot hear you. Not where he is right now. He hears nothing. He sees nothing. He will not so much as gaze upon your face until I command him to do so. Yamada-san was right about you. You don't know you don't know what love is. I am not I am not I am not the one being judged here today, nor are you, for that matter. Lawbreaker, raise your head. Now watch. Watch as order is restored. I kept my eyes on Hiro. I knew that if my eyes left his for even a second, it would all be over. Watch, lawbreaker. Watch as she forgets who you are, as every last trace of you is expunged from her memory. I knew I couldn't hold out much longer. The old spirits were already beginning to crawl inside my head. Whether my eyes met theirs or not, that's when it hit me. This was a good thing. Hiro was going to be taken away from me one way or another. If I was going to lose him, why not also lose the memories of him? Indeed, shouldn't I want to lose those memories now, since keeping them would only cause me pain and regret for the rest of my life? This was a good thing, and a good thing. A good thing. That I wanted no part of it. I clung to consciousness for a few brief seconds, then finding that consciousness not much worth clinging to, retreated into the past. And in the past, I stayed for as long as my muddled brain and a weary body would allow. No way, I can't believe I'm the only one here. Your mom's been waiting around the clock. Yumi, you recognize me. That's great. 'Cause the doctors said there might be some memory loss. Doctors? This is the Fukuyama City Hospital. You've been here for a while. A few days, actually. Your mom's going to be so relieved you've come to. She's downstairs getting coffee. Hang on, I'll go find her. No, wait, I mean, there's something I need to know. Where's Hiro? Is he still in Fukuyama? Hiro Sakurai, at school. Yumi, come on. The gift basket. Remember we went to his front door together back in the spring? Miki, I don't know anybody named Hiro. Yumi, don't do this to me. There's a boy at school named Hiro Sakurai. I ran away with him to Hokkaido. That's where I've been all this time, and Hiro's the guy I've been with. Miki, you've been through a lot. I better go get your mom now. Yumi, listen to me. The house on Kita Hill, that's Hiro's house. That's where they found me, right? On the lawn outside of his house. Miki, I'm not supposed to talk to you about this stuff. Yumi, where did they find me? How did I get here? You were brought to the hospital by a policeman. They found you on the outskirts of Fukuyama. You were alone, wandering along a wooden road at the crack of dawn. They said you were totally out of it, disoriented. Look, Miki, you ran away from home a few months ago. No one knows why. No one knows where you went. The doctors think you had some kind of weird nervous breakdown or something. But everything's gonna be okay. You're totally gonna go back to norm now. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you physically, and they've got really good therapists who are going to help you through all this mental stuff. Yumi, the house on Kita Hill. Miki, there is no house on Kita Hill. It was torn. It was torn. It was torn. Torn. It was torn down years ago. Hiro Sakurai, it's real, Yumi. I am not making this up. Please, Miki, just let me go get your mom. And so I was reunited with my parents, my friends, and seemingly everyone I'd ever known in Fukuyama, as they all came to visit at the hospital, showering me with flowers, gifts, and overly gentle words of encouragement. I tried mentioning Hiro to people who might have remembered him, and then he reached up and brushed a spider web away from the lamp above the checkout counter. Anyway, he was there. You remember that, Manami, don't you? But always with the same result. Gee, I don't know, Miki. I remember that day pretty clearly, and there was no one in there but Yohei and me the whole time. And so I resolved not to speak of him to anyone anymore. But when I was released from the hospital, it was not the homecoming I was energized about. It was the proof positive I knew was waiting there for me. First thing I did when I got home was go get the arrow, the one Hiro had given to me at the train station. It was gone with the box Hiro had put it in. I went to the desk where I had notes Hiro had written to me. Gone, even the forged note from Eka. There was not a single object I could bring forth as proof of Hiro's existence. It had all been taken away from me. When the doctor said I was well enough to venture out on my own, I went straight to Kita Hill. It was just as Yumi had said. Nothing but faint outlines of a basement that had been filled in years ago. It was here. I just didn't imagine all this. It wasn't just a dream. Put it back. Please put it back. In February, I returned to class at Fukuyama High because of the months I missed and the extraordinary circumstances of my disappearance. It was decided that I attend the remainder of my class only as an observer, so that I could retake my senior year from the beginning in the spring. And so I watched as all my peers got ready to move on with their lives, while I got ready to go back to square one. And though everyone described it as getting a fresh start, I knew that what it really meant was taking a whole year of my life, the most important year, the most exciting and confusing and amazing year, and acting as if it had never happened. One morning before classes began, Yumi came over with a boy in tow. The same boy she'd been talking up to for the last several weeks as the man of my dream. Miki, this is Kei Hayashi. Remember Kei? He has something he wants to talk to you about. I'll leave you to get to know each other. Hey. So Miki, there's this new yakiniku restaurant in town. Everybody says it's really great, and I was thinking maybe you and me we could look. Okay, you're a nice guy. I could be friends with you, but I can't be. Not with you, not with anyone. I have to be alone. It's the way I am, the way I'll always be. Sure, I can understand that, and I totally respect where you're coming from. The thing is, I've got these coupons for the restaurant, and they expire if I don't use them soon. So the one from the temple I visited back in September, he was standing there in the snow, smiling at me. But it was more than that. He was waiting for me. Miki, still want to know about the future? Yes, yes, I do. Well, then, perhaps you better come with me. Quickly, child. Quick as you can. He took off at an incredible speed, sprinting over hills of snow and across a wind-swept winter field until I realized we were retracing the path Hiro and I had taken the previous spring, that went to the top of the mountain. Up we went, 2 or 3 steps at a time, all the way to the shrine and past it, on and on, higher, higher and higher, until at last we reached it, the very spot Hiro had led me to all those months ago. I'll never forget that day. The day he brought you here. Who are you? Hiro told you about me a number of times, of course. I'm sure you didn't picture me looking like this. Let's see now. How would you have imagined me? I know, probably a bit more like this. I have taken many shapes and forms over the millennia, my dear. The average mortal needs Mother Freya to be grand and awe-inspiring. Mortals like that, you know. But for today's purposes, I think I best go back to looking like Mr. Watanabe from the temple. After all, Miki, you are anything but an average mortal. Well, very well then. Let's get down to business. These things are here. They belong to you. The notes, the arrow. You know, it's not often that I erase a deliverer's existence from the place in which he has served, and it's rare that any mortal is aware of what I've taken away. I think you handled it all quite admirably. Where's Hiro? Admirably. Can you take me to Where's Hiro? Can you take me to him? I'm sorry, my dear, but I have not come here to reunite you with Hiro, only to reassure you that he is in good health, and that Akuzu's cruel plans will never come to pass. But I need to see Hiro. I need to be with him. I'll do anything you ask. Miki, my child, the time has come for you to move on, to let it go. I know you can't understand that now, but you will in time. You'll see. You see, I didn't expect the depth of love you feel for Hiro. I tried, in fact, to restrain your feelings for him. But once these things are set in motion, they take on lives of their own. They become living, grown things that no one, not even I, can control. And for that I am sorry. Never did I